Buzzworthy Radio is on. The entertainment show that gets you up close and personal with today's hottest stars. Here's your host, Novell J. Lee.
Hey guys, it's Novell J. Lee and welcome into a new Buzzcast here at Buzzworthy Radio. I had the chance to sit down and speak with Dan Bucatinsky, who stars in the NBC romantic comedy series Marry Me. The actor was recently promoted to series regular on the show, and he gave us a little bit of a tease of what's to come in tonight's episode, so we talked to him about that. We also touched on Scandal, which many of the fans will recognize him for playing the role of James Novack. He also won an Emmy for his role on the ABC series. We talked to him about that, plus much, much more with Dan Bucatinsky. Check it out. Hello, Dan. How are you?
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing very well this morning. How are you?
Good, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. First of all, this man who I'm talking to this morning is probably one of the busiest men in television industry, not only winning an Emmy for his role on Scandal. He's now one half of the Kevins on the wonderful sitcom Marry Me on NBC. I love this show. It gives me happy endings feelings. That's probably why I fell in love with it. Dan Bucatinsky is joining me right now. Unbelievable show, and congratulations to you on the fact that you've been promoted to a series regular on the show.
Oh, thank you so much. It was really a happy occasion that we were able to work that out. I was on the show ever since, well, we did the pilot the week that I got killed off of Scandal, spoiler alert. And
in case you didn't know what happened last year, he got killed off, just so you know.
Yeah. In case you're not caught up, you just found out. But no, I had a great ride on Scandal. I owe so much to Shonda and the cast of the show, and we're still very, very close. But the week that was happening was a dark week in my life, and one of the biggest highlights was being able to join the cast of Marry Me and the pilot, and luckily it got picked up, and I'm able to join the cast now in a more permanent way, which is really exciting.
I love the cast on this show. Casey Wilson plays your daughter. Well, actually, my two dads have a daughter.
Yes.
On the show.
Yes,
and of course,
yeah, no, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say one of the reasons why I'm so excited that you're now promoted to a series regular is because I want to see the outfits they're going to put you in, because it's very outlandish.
Yes. Yeah. They're having a good time dressing the two Kevins. Some of it's stuff that I probably would wear in real life, and some of it is a little bit more out there. I think they see my Kevin, my particular Kevin, as being a little bit fashion forward. So we try out different things. But it's interesting being part of a couple that's 30 years together with Tim Meadows. We imagine we've got together sometime in high school, and have been together ever since. And it's really quite a fun show. It's a romantic comedy, but with so much of an ensemble feel to it, like Happy Endings was. We're having such a great time, and tonight's episode is so wild. It's the proposal of Annie and Jake, which triggered the launching of the show, was the unproposal, an unconventional proposal. Tonight is another proposal, one between the two Kevins, that is very unexpected.
So it's going to kind of trump Annie and Jake a little bit.
Well, I think Kevin would like to think it would trump it. I think every bride's worst nightmare is that she has to compete. Well, I don't know if every bride. I think it would be a bride's worst nightmare to have to compete with her own dad for, Bride of the Year.
I think it was Annie's worst nightmare to have to compete with her two dads, one of which were
Correct.
trying to figure out which sperm was actually the one who fathered the girl for a wedding.
It's tough. That's a tough one to figure out. That one is just going to be a poser. We'll never know. We'll just never, ever know.
I don't think I want to know, actually. I really don't. I think somehow she embodies both of the crazies in the Kevins. So I don't think I want to know either.
She does. I think you can probably assume, based on the relationships and maybe even our complexion, which sperm maybe got in first. But there's definitely an influence of both of us on Annie, and it's been really fun to sort of find the different ways in which the two Kevins are actually quite different.
Oh, of course. And as I mentioned, you're probably one of the busiest men in Hollywood right now, and you managed to bring back The Comeback on HBO, which that was a feat in itself. How did that even happen? How did that come about?
The show has been built such an amazing following over the 9 years that we've been off the air. We were lucky enough to sort of continuously feel a groundswell of support of people who saw the show or who found the show on DVD afterwards or when it was on the Sundance Channel. And there seemed to be just the right time to talk to HBO, and HBO called Michael and Lisa and myself and were interested in bringing the show back. And we've never, our passion for that show has never waned. So we jumped at the opportunity, and it happened very, very quickly. I mean, Michael Patrick King is truly the busiest man as well, and he's working on Two Broke Girls. And so we took a window during his hiatus, and Lisa Kudrow and Michael wrote the show. Lisa is in every frame of it, and they wrote it, and we shot it in May to July, and we've been editing it, and it's back on the air now as quickly as it came back on.
Oh, yeah. I mean, once the news was announced, Twitter was just up in arms with excitement when I saw it. I was just like, are you serious? Are you serious?
Yeah, we're
my eyes were bugged
very
out.
Excited. We're very excited. I mean, the response has been amazing. I think people really were eager to see us come back, and no pun intended. And Lisa and Michael just did a phenomenal job in creating 8 episodes that really answer where she's been for 9 years, but also take a very current, modern, and dark approach to what happens when you really just want those cameras on you and are willing to go to any length to stay visible and relevant.
Before I get to my next question, which is going to circle back to Scandal for a second, I need to tell you that, and this is serious, by the way, but if you ever sell your I Dream of Jeannie collectibles, I will unfollow you on Twitter tomorrow.
Okay. So if I do it, I have to make sure you never find out about it, or I'll just never do it. I'll never do it.
Or you'll just never tell.
I'll never tell. Or I'll sell them to you.
Okay. Then I won't unfollow you then. If you sell them to me,
okay.
then yeah.
Okay.
We're all good, folks. I'm just saying. We're all good.
We're all good.
Yes, of course. But, obviously I cried when the character was killed off, and along with millions of Americans who watched it. And, it was just not the fact that you were shot, but the fact that you were shot and on the ground and just waiting to die, breathing your last breath. And that was rough. That was rough just to see that happen. And my question is the initial reaction when you read at the table read when this was going down and everything was coming to fruition that that the character James was going to be killed off and everything. What did you think about that?
Well, it was a bit of a surprise to me. I mean, there was an episode prior to the one where the beautiful episode where I was James finally passes away, but the one prior was one where Jake shoots a gun in the street and one bullet goes off. You don't know whether it's going to be James or David Rosen. And that episode I had no warning about. Neither David nor neither Melina nor I knew, and we read it at the table, and it was sort of an absolute shocker. Everyone's jaw had dropped. And I don't think the writers had quite figured out what they were going to do, whether the gun would come from somebody else. So they took 3 or 4 days to figure out. It was a very nerve-wracking week while we shot that episode. We didn't quite know what was going to happen in the next episode. But then I got a phone call 4 days in, and told me that James was going to be the one to die. And it was a sad moment, but they wrote a beautiful episode. If you have to die, that's the way to do it. And it was I had a really good run with the show.
Well, we obviously loved the work that you did on Scandal, but we're also loving what you're doing on Marry Me right now. And we can't wait to see the episode tonight, which airs at 9 on NBC. And if you have the pleasure of following Dan on Twitter, please do so at Dan Bucatinsky. We'll have it for you on our website as well. And check out his website, danbucatinsky.com.
Yes. Thank you so much.
We got to do this again for sure. We'll talk more about that I Dream of Jeannie collection.
Absolutely. I'll take some pictures and post them.
Oh, please. I would love to see them, actually.
Cool.
Absolutely. Dan, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on.
What a great guy that was. Many thanks to Dan Bucatinsky for stopping by the podcast today. As previously mentioned, you can find him on Twitter at Dan Bucatinsky, as well as his website at danbucatinsky.com. We'll have the information for you on our website, and also make sure you catch new episodes of Marry Me on NBC every Tuesday night at 9/8 Central on the Peacock Network. But that's going to do it for me for right now. I'm Devel J. Lee, making sure you keep getting the latest buzz with Buzzworthy Radio by logging on to our website at buzzworthyradiocast.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at Buzzworthy Radio and liking us on our Facebook page. We'll see you guys next time. Take care.
From Twitter to iHeartRadio, Buzzworthy is everywhere. Miss the show? Log on to buzzworthyradiocast.com for past shows and videos of some of your favorite stars. Stay connected to Buzzworthy Radio.